Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend some time with us today. It's going to be a hot one, so we're out and about a little earlier than normal. And we're going to go move our chickens a shade closer to some shade just because of this heat wave, which it's the time of year for it to start getting hot.
I think last year at this time we'd already had several of these hot, miserable days, hadn't we?
Yeah, last year was an unusual time.
Yeah, we had some really hot weather in was it early June or even into May? I can't remember that.
Yeah, it was early June. All the way through the month of June. It didn't rain in June.
That's right. Yeah, we was in a terrible drought then too. It really don't feel that bad out here this morning though.
No, it ain't bad. Look at the little mullein plant getting ready to bloom.
Oh, I thought it was gonna work. If you'll come stand on it, it'll work.
Okay. They ain't gonna get shocked, are they?
Who?
The chickens. Like through them wheels.
Them wheels are rubber.
Well, it's shocking me
There
through
we
my
go.
shoe.
Is it?
Yeah.
You must not have very good insulated shoes then. There we go.
Well, I wasn't even standing on it.
I guess them sandals ain't thick, are they?
I don't know. They got pretty thick bottoms. Look at them.
I don't know why it'd be shocking you unless it's where they're wet.
I felt it.
I think I'm gonna go all the way down to this bottom corner down here.
I believe that's where we put them when it got so hot last year, remember?
I think it is. This thing's easy to move going downhill.
I bet it is. We'll have fun getting it out of here.
That's what we got a tractor for.
That's true.
This grass out in here still looks pretty good, don't it?
Yeah. I'm hoping it'll hold on through this hot where the cows ain't on it. You know what I mean?
Hopefully it will.
The best it's ever looked. We've had several questions lately about this netting. I guess right now would be a good time to answer it. This is, if you can hear me over at Guinea, this is Premier One. What's this called? The poultry netting?
Yeah,
It's got the little squares.
It's poultry netting, but it's also made for rougher ground because it's got the posts closer together in it.
Yeah.
They do make a poultry netting that's got the post about twice as far apart in it, which makes it lighter to move, but it don't contour rough ground near as good.
And
look, Megan, I'm all the way over here for your corner.
I see you. I was looking.
All right.
If you're gonna try to train chickens to netting though, you're gonna have to have the netting with the little squares at the bottom, because if not, the chickens will walk right through it. The electricity that's on it ain't necessarily to keep chickens in, it's to keep stuff out. And the chickens will walk through it if it's got big squares. If they ain't used to being in it.
The electricity that's on it don't even seem to bother chickens.
No, I guess their feathers insulate them. But anyways, and then we had some people asking recently too, that are probably new, how in the world do we keep them in here? Well, just over time, older chickens have trained newer chickens, and it sounds kind of cruel, but if they get out and can't figure out how to get back in, we might give them a chance or two, but after that, they're on their own till they figure out their safe spots inside this net, and they better not get out. We don't clip their wings or anything, do we?
Nope. And y'all, if down here, especially where we've got them now, if a chicken gets out, even during the day, most likely it's a goner, unless we catch it before something gets it. So that's how good this netting keeps your stuff protected. And the chickens eventually learn that.
Yep.
If you have a problem child, usually it gets taken care of on its own.
And some people's gonna think that's real mean, but doing that through the years, our chickens, for the most part now, we don't have much of an issue.
Well, we did have one that got out all the time.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It don't no more.
But it don't no more.
Where'd this wire come from?
What wire?
I don't know. There's a whole pile of wire here for my cows to get tangled up in.
No. They ain't got tangled up in it by now. They ain't gonna get tangled in it.
Well, I'm gonna get it up. Where did that come from?
I will tell you something about this netting.
Andy loves it.
It's enough to make a preacher man cuss every once in a while. Don't get me wrong, once you get it figured out, it ain't that bad. But even once you get it figured out, you still have your days with it. And
you just want to throw it down the hill.
That's about all I'm going to say about it.
There's these some people, and I'm sure it probably looks like it when we do it too, because we're used to it, but people on YouTube make it look like it's so easy. And when we first got it, we were like, oh my gosh, this is the hatefulest stuff it ever was.
There's a trick to rolling it up when you move it. And if you don't do it right, you got a nightmare on your hands.
There's plenty of cow pies in this little shady spot, because the cows like to stay down here too, so they'll be happy about that.
There we go.
Where'd that water go? Let me go get that.
Well, y'all got you a new shady home for a little while.
Yeah, they liable to be right there for a while. Here, babies. You know what? I meant to bring a little hay.
Oh, to
put in boxes. I forgot. Again, for the millionth time. I tell you, the two worst chickens we've had, this is just our personal experience to keeping this netting. And that was barred rocks. Remember them barred rocks? Yeah. They would not.
I'll never have another barred rock.
The barred rocks, we had a terrible time with them. And these speckled Sussex. So funny story, when I was separating my chickens back when we had like 75 chickens here, it's been a little over a year ago now, I went through and I got out the ones that I wanted to keep. And I wanted to keep, it's about 4 or 5 of them speckled chickens because I think they're so pretty. I wanted to keep them. So I got them and I separated them over to where the house was, because at that time we put this in the goat pasture and the big chicken house was over where they couldn't see each other because I didn't want them flying back over here. Well, you remember this?
So you ended up back with the big chickens?
I kept like 4 or 5 of them, and I started giving away. We gave away most of them. I think we didn't even sell any of them, did we? I think we gave them all away. Except for, I think, 12 or 15 was what I was aiming to keep. And I didn't pay that much attention because we got rid of them all in a couple days. And I come down here and I said, I will be darned, something done got all my speckled chickens, except for one. Come to find out, I started counting how many I think your mama got and your sister and a few other people. And I was like, them things flew out and went back to the house. And they got give away and I didn't even realize it. So I only got to keep one of my speckled ones.
But anyways, I'll show you how we electrify this net. Now, a lot of people use the solar fence boxes on these nets like this, and I guess that works. I've never used one though. But even, see, down here in this shady area, it probably wouldn't work that great because you don't have that much sun. But we run them, we've got the perimeter fence around the whole place here that's got power on it. And this power comes from the main fence controller up at the barn, which is a big one. Like, I got one of the biggest ones you can get. You touch this fence right here,
it's gonna knock you down.
Yeah, you're gonna be knocked down. It ain't just gonna hurt, it's gonna knock you down. But
And the reason we have such a big fence box is it used to run the pig fence, goat fence, this fence, and everything.
And a bunch of nettings.
And a bunch of net when we used to have a bunch of chickens and stuff.
Yeah, so that was the thing. When I went to the local place up here, I told them, I said, look, we got a ton of these poultry nettings. We've got the goat fencing. We've got all this stuff. And, you know, this poultry netting, each one of these wires right here has electricity on it. So that's, you know, they rate them boxes by miles. Well, you got to think. You can take however long this netting is and multiply it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And multiply it by 11, and that's how much length of fence you actually have in one netting. So you got to keep that in mind too. Plus, look at this. The netting is always touching the ground. I don't care, unless you've got it mowed and scalped to the ground, you're going to have this netting touching the ground and grounding out. So we were having issues with our first box we had. The nettings, I mean, we didn't have anything on the fence. It was just the nettings themselves were draining the power.
Yeah, they pull power, yeah.
And so, plus we've got this one across the garden down here. I mean, we've just got stuff everywhere that this fence controller runs. So we had to have a big one. But anyways, back to my story here. Take these alligator clips like this. We bought them off of Amazon. Clip one to the fence. One over here to these little metal clips on the net. So first thing in the morning when you've got all these nets, I have noticed that you don't hear quite as much popping because everything is wet from dew. And so later in the evening, once everything dries out and it quits shorting everything out as bad, you'll hear stuff start popping. But I guarantee if I touch this, it'll still shock me. I'm not going to try right now though. But anyways.
To the onions.
To the onions, yeah. We got some... we're going to finally pull our clover onions today.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what...
I think everybody's going to be surprised to see what's in that bed.
I know.
Because, bad, I hate to say it, I may end up eating my words on this one. Anyways, let's go check it out. But before we get back to the onions real quick, I want to share something with y'all. Meagan here, y'all know, you've probably seen in the last video, that right now at the moment our cows are just stuck on this dedicated plot right here because we have ample amount of woods they can get in for shade.
Because Meagan, if you hadn't realized by now, worries to death over these animals.
She worries to death over these animals, and she said, I don't want them up there. So typically during our rotation, let me explain this real quick. At this point during our rotation, the cows would be under the barn. They would be in the sacrifice paddock up here under the barn. And Meagan said, I don't want them stuck in there.
It's going to be hot.
And it's going to be hot under that barn and all that. But with them in this pasture right here, they still have access to this barn. I want you to look at where they are.
Every one of them.
Every one of them is under that barn up there. She said, you know it's going to be cooler in them woods and everything else, and it probably is, but...
there they are.
Look where they are at.
Y'all, you're making me look bad.
It's the way it works every time.
It ain't a one of them out here.
They love that barn. I don't know why, because...
the horses are the same way when they're over here.
You give them a free choice, and they always do what you think they shouldn't do.
And the thing is, when they get under that barn, they'll be under there most of the day till it starts cooling off in the evening, then they'll come out here.
That's when they'll come out, and they'll probably start eating on the hay then. As we make our way to the onions, I want y'all to look at our beautiful pepper plants.
I know, I need to look up when I'm supposed to pick these.
I think they get bigger than that.
Oh, I was going to say, I may supposed to pick them now, I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they do get bigger. Look at these poblanos. We've never had a poblano
look at the one on the backside, that's the big one.
Oh wow. Wow. That's a nice pepper right there.
It is. It's beautiful. I love peppers. I think they're pretty.
So these right here are probably going to be our better onions.
Think so?
Yeah, I think they are.
You really think so?
Well, yeah, for now I do. Let's wait till we pull them and then I'll say.
Yeah, then we'll decide.
There's two together.
Yeah, these are three together. I don't know how they ended up like that.
But there's a nice one.
These are like they started multiplying off each other or something.
That's interesting. Now there's a nice one. That's a really nice one.
Yes, he's beautiful. Well, I've got some pretty ones in the house that...
That one's rotten.
Well, if they're rotten, don't have
Is that what happened? Did we leave them too long and make them rot? No, look.
Got
You
that,
see that little cocoon?
Yeah, it got that bug in it.
Got them worms in them. Or...
Well, these two, look at that. That's a nice one, though.
That's a nice one, I think.
Yeah. I don't understand why they started growing apart on each.
Just as rotten as it can be.
Well,
I think it's going to get to the point where we just can't grow onions.
no, I ain't going to say that because they were way better this year than they have been the last 2 years.
Well, these weren't that rotten. Maybe we should have pulled them a little earlier. I didn't think they were ready, though. Yeah, every one of them's rotten.
Well, it's all right. It just is what it is.
Look, that one's making a baby.
Interesting. They do stink.
Yeah, they do.
We gonna clean this up?
Yeah.
We're just gonna leave this in here like we did the other ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking very serious about planting some corn in this bed.
Are you?
Mm-hmm. And maybe even these other beds here.
How will we pick it? I'll be have to be
Standing
out.
on a ladder?
Yeah, I have to be out here with a ladder.
So what gave me an idea was on our Facebook group, I seen somebody shared a picture of their corn growing in a raised bed.
Oh, really?
And I was like, cause I'll give y'all a quick backstory here while I pull some weeds. Y'all see on YouTube that a ton of people grow Silver Queen corn. And we don't. But when I was young, that's all my grandpa grew. That's all I ever remember him growing was Silver Queen. I don't personally think that since me and Megan's been married, we've never grew Silver Queen.
I don't know if I've ever eaten Silver Queen.
Well, it's been so long that I can't even remember what Silver Queen tastes like. I just remember that was the only thing my grandpa would grow. So, I bought me some Silver Queen seeds the other day. I've only got 2 very small packets, so it's not enough to plant much of an area at all. But at the moment, we're currently out of in-ground space. And typically, I only grow corn in the ground. I've never grown corn in a raised bed. But what I was thinking is we have 1, 2, 3, fixing to be 4 empty raised beds right here. Maybe I could try it and see how it works. I'm going to say we've probably got enough seeds to plant 2 raised beds.
Think so?
Maybe 3.
Well,
So give us some input on that. It's not going to be today. It's probably not going to be tomorrow. It's probably not even going to be this week. we know for a fact we can plant corn, sweet corn here, as late as like July 4th week. Maybe even the week after that.
No, listen, last year, I need to look at the calendar. Last year, we planted our latest corn. I want to say it was like 2 weeks after the 4th.
Was it?
And we said we don't know if it'll make.
And we did make.
And it did. Just in time, but it made, yeah.
So with that in mind, you know, we still got plenty of time that we can plant some corn. So anyways, give us your thoughts on putting corn in a raised bed. I've never done it, but the one thing that's really leaning me towards it is the fact that we have this drip irrigation on here now. And that was always my biggest fear, is never being able to keep that corn watered enough to make anything.
Next
is this awful mess right here.
So backstory on this, our compost that we use from this comes from the cows,
yes.
Right? From the cows. Well, honestly, if we didn't know it had all these clover seeds in it, we'd just slung it on the pasture, but it's never done this before. But all this clover, we couldn't stay on top of it, and finally we just said to heck with it, let it take it over. And it did. It took over our onion bed. And well, we've dug around a few of them, and it might be a little surprising. It looks like a growed up mess, I realize that, but anyways, we're gonna see.
I think it might be surprising what's gonna come out of here, unless they're all rotten like these other ones just were.
I know.
Look at that. I mean, that's not the biggest onion in the world, but considering it had this much competition,
yep,
that's a nice onion.
This one is too. Hey,
Finding them all is gonna be the problem.
yeah.
Now, there's one of them double ones again.
Well, are we? Because we're probably gonna leave this clover, ain't we?
Well, yeah,
For
maybe.
now.
My thinking was, unless I end up planting it in corn. But my thinking was...
Look at that one. That's not a bad one.
That ain't a bad one. Look at that one. I've never seen one do that. My thinking was I was going to leave this clover here.
It's rotten.
And that just like a cover crop. Look at that. Right, nice looking onion.
It is. These onions have looked the healthiest out of all of them the whole time.
Yeah, they really have. And when we planted these, if y'all remember, they were bulbs. You know, they weren't onion slips or nothing like that. They were onion bulbs. They were planted extremely thick because Maggie planted them. And she just kind of got carried away slinging them in there.
These ain't bad, though.
But they ain't bad at all.
No.
I mean, we can't complain with that at all.
No. I'm tickled.
Very, very interesting.
Well, an interesting experiment that we didn't mean to do.
There is several of these in there. And that's to be expected, but there's a bunch of nice ones in here, that's for sure.
So was that a good one, or?
Yeah, I'm throwing my good ones there. That's my good ones.
Oh.
I don't want to throw them in the bucket and make them bruise.
Well, why don't you just hand them to me?
That one's rotten, Megan.
Did you hear me?
This is a good one.
Yeah, hand me the good ones.
This one's rotten. It's like half of it's rotten and half of it's good, so it probably wouldn't keep, would it?
I don't want nothing to do with no rotten onion.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That one right there could have been a big one.
I'm so tickled, though. Because I literally did, at one time, until I come in here and start digging around them, looking at them, I was like, these things, we just ain't gonna have no onions out of that bed.
Well, my thinking is not only would they have so much competition they couldn't grow, but also where it's such a thick mat in here that I would think there'd be a lot more bug
issues. Look at that
one.
It was buried up in there, and that's a good one.
They're all, look, there's less rotten onions in this bed than it was the other bed.
Yeah.
Look at that. I wonder where they're pouring concrete at. They keep going by here.
I don't know. That was a really good one.
Finding them is the trouble, though.
Yeah.
I wonder if we didn't leave them too long and they started making new ones. Is that what's happened here?
I don't know. We ain't onion farmers, y'all.
Oh, gosh. That's a yellow onion.
What?
So was this bed
It's yellow and white. I ain't never had a yellow onion like that.
Well, that one apparently is rotten. I just pulled the stick off of them.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Ain't that?
No, it's not rotten either. Oh, yeah, it is. It's got a bad spot in it. Look, look.
Ain't it nice?
It's rotten too. I have a feeling we should have pulled these yellow ones a long time ago.
Well, like I just said, we're not what you'd call onion farmers.
What is up with that one?
It looks messed up.
Yeah. Oh, there's a decent one. Here you go.
This is the best onions I think we've had in a couple years.
You know, honestly, this right here would be a good bed to grow corn back into. But I'd have to do away with the clover. I couldn't leave this clover.
Yeah. Or because it's so short.
No, because the clover's in here, and you know, clover's a nitrogen fixer.
Right.
So having clover planted before a corn crop would be ideal.
I just can't believe they done this good.
No, I can't either, considering that they were growing in a bed of clover. Oh, look! It's a red one, and it's pretty.
That's the prettiest red one.
Evidently, we stuck a red one right in the corner here, because that was literally growing in the very edge of the bed. A young'un probably did it.
Probably. That's a pretty one.
There's a lot of onions in here. You just got to dig for them.
Yeah, you just got to find them.
Oh, these look pretty good. Well, it was a very interesting experiment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that one would have been a good one, but it's rotten.
Is it?
Yep. Look. But I don't think it's any good, Megan.
Well, I didn't realize there was red ones over here because I think you're supposed to.
You're supposed to pull them
Oh
earlier?
no, look, it split.
Yeah, it split like it's got that.
Yep.
What was that thing? It was like a
leaf miner, alum miner.
There you go, alum leaf miner. We've had a problem with it.
Last 3 years.
Yep. I think in result of that, I keep forgetting every year though, to avoid its schedule of laying eggs and stuff, you're supposed to plant your onions just a little bit later. I forget it every year, and we always plant our onions early.
We forget it till we go to pull them and be like, man.
Yep.
People also say that about squash bugs, but we have debunked that many.
Yeah, now squash bugs, yeah, it's
that's a different story.
They're gonna come on any time of year. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, at least here anyway, in our location.
Here you go.
Are those all good?
Yeah, I
Really?
think so.
My #2 wash tub full of onions. That thing gonna be heavy.
Yeah, I think next year, I believe we're gonna put that compost on the pasture.
Yeah, if it's
got this much clover seed in it. We're at the point right now where we don't need a ton of compost in the gardens anyways. We've got all the beds full. You know, from now on, it'll just be kind of topping things off. So, I believe next year, or this fall or something, I'm going to spread all that on the pasture with a manure spreader. So, I wonder what would be a good way to get rid of this clover. Look.
Yep, I see it. You the master, man, with this stuff.
I might weed eat it down and then throw like a black tarp over it all to kill it.
There you go.
Right now would be a good time to do that, as hot as it's going to get.
It'll be dead tomorrow.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, that's most of it anyway.
All right, well, all of these are the ones that's in question. I'm just going to leave them laying there to dry and see what they look like once they dry out.
All right, you ready?
What we got to do now?
Well, I need to go down to take these to the greenhouse to dry. I need to get out my garlic so we have room for these.
Okay.
It's going to be hot in there.
Yeah, it is.
Go cut the air on before I get down there.
Cut the air on in the greenhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah. You wanting me to put all the garlic and stuff in this one?
Yeah.
Or are you going to need that one?
I don't know.
Oh, it's not that bad in here. It's only 110 degrees.
That's all?
Yeah, that's all.
This at least get.
That dried up nice.
Yeah, I love the way you built that shelf in there. It works good for a drying rack.
Oh, I know it does.
Is that all of it?
No, that's like half of it.
Oh.
Do you want the rest of them?
Yeah, put a few more in there. I don't believe they're gonna fit. That'll work. Just something for me to tote them up to the porch in.
There you go.
That all of it?
I think so. Then the rest is onions.
Okay.
You want them?
No.
Boy, it's like walking in the air conditioner when you come out of that thing.
Probably should water my horses while I'm down here too. Hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Probably ought to give the horses some water while I'm down here too. Here, I'll do that while you're...
You got it on?
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll let them lay there for like a day or so, and then I'll come down here and stir them around a little bit where they're kind of piled on top of each other. I don't know, I might can make room like this. There we go. I know to some of y'all that is not the greatest looking onion harvest, but it's not bad. And them little onions will eat just as good as the big onions do. Y'all remember Jacob's little tomato plant he rooted? I believe it's took root. Be time to plant that thing now. Put part of this in this tub.
No, just put it all in there.
All of it in the big tub.
Might as well. We'll just sit them on the porch. I'll work on here in a little while. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome. So, I think the rest of the day for me, I've got to get my hay baler unloaded and get it cleaned up. I got to get the rake unhooked and clean it up. I got to cultivate my corn, which might not happen till later this season. I don't know. It's just got to the point where it's so hot already. I don't really want to be going up there and plowing through the corn and kind of stress. I don't know. I feel like it would probably stress out the corn if I plowed it as hot as it is now. And I've also got to go over there and get that hay out of the field. So I highly doubt any of that's recorded. I may throw in a clip towards the end of what the corn actually looks like because it don't look too bad right now. But it's just so hot. It's just so hot that cameras don't like this heat. And
No.
it's just hard to try to record anything like that when it's
When it's
just hot outside.
Yeah.
Well, you done got a little bit of it fixed, ain't you?
Yeah, I just been piddling along here.
I just got the disc mower blowed off. I got my hay rake blowed off. Now I gotta get the hay roller blowed off. I can put it up.
All right.
I thought I'd come up here and sit down on the porch where it's cool for just a minute. I'm gonna tell you what, it's hot.
Yes, it is. It's nice and warm. So when I store my garlic, after I let it dry completely, like it's been down there for ever how long ago that was, we pulled it, a week or so. And so the leaves and everything are good and dry. The outside skin is good and flaky. I just trim off this old stem here. Oh, this one's hard. These little scissors may not do it. I may have to show you on another one. Andy, you might have to do that when you got bigger scissors than me.
You need a pair of pruners, don't you? Pair of pruners works pretty good to do this with.
Yeah. I'll show you on a little one. But you just cut that stem off. I leave a little bit sticking up on all of them and give it a little haircut there. Just to, you ain't even got to do that part, but that's what I do.
That's a good chunk of garlic there.
Yeah, it's a big one. But it'll keep just fine like that. I've actually had garlic that, I've still got garlic in the kitchen from last year. Now, so it'll keep about roughly a year. And I've got a little basket. Y'all seen them hanging in my videos in the kitchen. They hang up in my windowsill and they're just little baskets, and that's what I keep that in. And it keeps perfectly fine. I guess where it's cool in the house.
Well, it's cool in the house, and those baskets allow for airflow.
Yeah, and we've tried keeping it in the basement, down where I keep my canned foods and stuff. We tried keeping this and onions down there, and they just, something about down there, they just didn't do good. So we only did that one time, and ever since then, we've always just kept it up in the house.
The one other thing we want to mention to y'all before we end today's video is next week, which is the week of July 4th. We're probably going to only have one video come out that week. We're going to take somewhat of a...
We're going to take a little bit of a break, and instead of having 3 videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week, we're just going to have a video on Wednesday, hopefully, good Lord willing, and just take a little time off, because some people may not realize that watch these videos, you know, it's a lot of work that people don't see. And, you know, just every once in a while, it's good to, the work will still be going on here, believe it.
It's good to sit back and breathe just a little bit.
Yeah, and so the work won't quit here, but It'll quit on the YouTube side for just a few days anyway. So
and another reason for the
I'm gonna save the big ones for you.
okay. Another reason for the little bit of a vacation here is also a few days. I don't know exactly which days yet. Me and Jacob are going to be down at Denton at the old Threshers reunion. And so we're not going to be set up there or anything like that. We're just going to be there enjoying the show, just like anybody else would. So if you happen to slip up on one of us while we're there, don't be afraid to come up and say, hey, hello. I know last year while we was there, we met, we actually met several viewers.
Several, yeah.
So if you're there and you happen to see us walking around, because like I said, we're not going to be set up or nothing like that. We're just going to be there enjoying the show just like anybody else would be. But please don't be scared to come up and tap us on the shoulder or holler at us or whatever. You know, we love meeting people who watch us. So,
because most time it's like-minded people. That's
exactly. Yeah.
Good to talk to.
But anyways, yeah, that's where me and Jacob's going to take off to next week. I don't think that did any good.
Yeah, like I said, I run into a couple like that. That's a good thing, too, about letting them dry this much, though, outside.
You can tell which ones are good and which are bad.
Yeah. And
very easily.
They ain't going to be rotting in my house, stinking up the house. But, anyways, guys, that's probably going to wrap up today's video.
Yep, still got a ton of work to do today.
Like I said, be looking for the next video on Wednesday, and I guess we'll see y'all then.
And I hope everybody has a happy 4th of July week.
Yep, yep. And until we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.
Look at that one. Where did he come from? That's one of them little red garlics.
I don't know.
He was tangled up in the roots of the other one.
That's interesting. You took my good scissors.
Well, those are the ones that was laying over here.
I know. I wasn't going to make you cut with these.
Well, I got to get back at it anyways.
Well, I mean, made a good dent in it.
Yeah.
And this would be something.
2 people make a difference, don't it?
Absolutely.
It's like that with anything. You double up on it, you can get it done a whole lot faster. I may just sit here and help you till we get it done.
Lord, you must be sick.
Well, it's hot out there. I do think, the more I think about it, the more I believe I'll wait till later this evening to go up there and cultivate that corn.
Yeah, it may mess up the corn.
I ain't even worried about that. It may mess me up.
Or that.
Cooking like that. I cooked enough yesterday on that tractor and baling hay.
I know you did. I'm worried about you out there like that.
It was all right, but times like that, I wish I had a canopy on that tractor. That little bit of shade from that canopy does more than you can ever realize, and I never knew it until I had that forward with the canopy.